Welcome back to another episode of the Glory Reds podcast. I'm joining the studio with my boy, Dom Benito. What's good, my guy?
What's good, D? What's happening, man?
All is well, man. And this is an episode that we're supposed to record tomorrow, but it seems like the press conference came out sooner than expected.
And
Of course, I mentioned, yeah,
we aim to please.
of course, we aim to please. So thankfully, it came out early, so you can also be in this recording, because I did mention in the previous episode that you won't be available, but yeah, you're
I'm here.
available for it. So we had to jump on it.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, Erik had his press conference, so he's gonna go through what was discussed during the press conference, give you guys the updated news, so you guys know exactly what's happening, who he spoke about, who might be starting, might not be starting, and also get a good feeling about his energy going towards this game. And once again, guys, you can find us on all your favorite podcast and streaming platforms of Glory Reds FC. So if you want to listen to more content from us, you can just subscribe on all the podcast streaming platforms. But yeah, we're here to talk about the press conference. So let's take it away. So straight off the bat, yeah. So straight off the bat, he was asked questions about specific players. He was asked about Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and he was asked about Casemiro. And his exact words were, Kaze is on a race against the clock. So basically, he's not yet 100% fit, but there is
A chance.
there's a chance, and there's an urgency of getting him back into the squad, because he's
a big one.
He's a very important player. He's a very important player to the team, and we've had debates about are we going to miss Casemiro in specific games that we've gone into, and we know how important he is to the squad. So, yeah, man, what are your thoughts on that?
Hey, man, with Casemiro, the way I looked at Ten Hag and the way he mentioned it, I just figured he can't wait to get the guy back into the squad. But my concern was he's injured. We should be able to handle ourselves without him. That was the thing that we were hoping, so that we can. There should be some sort of flexibility in that midfield. We shouldn't only trust Casemiro. Casemiro is aging. He's, in a weird way, you can say he's beyond his prime. We are just so we shouldn't be needing him. We shouldn't be so anxious to getting him,
relying on him.
and that's the problem. That's the problem that we are having right now. But man, it looks like he might feature. I guess maybe he might come on later during the game, maybe to try and balance and see. But the game is quite big. It might be intense. He might aggravate his injury again. You never know. He might go in for a tackle, because you know how Casemiro plays. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think he's fine. They should just take their time with him and let us continue with the guys that we have. Regardless. Because what's the point of prolonging his injury? You know what I mean? And we are not sure about Manchester United's medical thing. The other time in the previous episode, one of them, we talked about this guy, and you're like, we don't really, and we're like, but they keep telling us that they're bringing in these medical personnel to come in, and our players are taking long to get, what's going on? So with Casemiro, they shouldn't force the issue. Just let the guy heal, because he's already past his age. He's at that period where you really need to take care of his injury. Now, if you force him back in and then make him aggravate his injury, then we lose him more time, and then there'll be more games that we're going to actually need him, for rotation purposes, because we're going to see that we really need Casemiro when he's age. So man.
I hear you. I think with Casemiro, we really need to manage his injuries. To your point, he's getting old. He's past his prime. He's one of those players that we're trying to manage, because he's such an important player. He adds so much value to the team. So we need to keep him as fit as possible at all times. So him, Eriksen, Martial not old, but he's injury prone. So we have to manage these guys and get the best out of them where we can get the best out of them. So I 100% agree with you over there that Casemiro, yes, there's an urgent need for him to be back into the team, but we shouldn't rush it.
We shouldn't.
We shouldn't sort of make that mistake that we did with Martinez.
Eish, bro.
Suffered a crucial injury. He came back, and then I think the fault also was on him of trying to like get
Play it
back
on. Like,
like up to
yeah,
speed. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like so
Try to be the
soon.
butcher.
And I
No.
Exactly. So I think Ten Hag should have also managed that as well to say, okay,
Mm,
fine, we'll bring you on for like a half, for 50, 70 minutes, you know what I mean, until we're 100% comfortable that you can go the long run. Because I think
mm,
if we did it like that, we could have possibly picked up on, oh, he's not yet fully fit or fully yet recovered. And that could have still been worked on, working his way back to full recovery. But
mm.
yeah, man. But I guess it's just football players, just wanting to be back on that pitch. So Aaron Wan-Bissaka, we also got word that he's back in training. Not much was spoke about that, of course. We just got news from the press conference that he is back in training and that he's working back to fitness. So, which is good news. So far, that's Kaze, that's Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Marcia, not Martial, um,
Malacia.
Malasia, Kobe Mainu. So it's good that most of these players that are injured are now
Mm.
getting back into training and working their way back up to fitness. So, we're just waiting for Chopeto Carlos,
Aish,
to make his presence
make
in that training
return.
pitch so we can also get excited about it, and yeah, man, we wish all these guys a quick and speedy recovery. So yeah, man, any other things that he said in the press conference that you would like to point out before I proceed?
Um, well, Marcus Rashford. They asked him a
Yeah.
question about Marcus Rashford, and you know what I've learned? Like, we need
Okay.
to deal with this. Like, it's forget Rashford is going to be
Yeah.
played regardless. So
Yep.
let us get over that. However, what I
Yeah.
do want to say now is this manager trusts Rashford so much. It's in Rashford's
Mm.
hands. Like, I honestly
Yeah.
think he is now the one that's letting the manager down because
Yeah.
honest, honestly, you look at Man City, you look at Liverpool, all these big teams. There are players that get subbed, that players that don't start, big players. And you ask yourself, like,
Mm.
what's going on? You saw there were a couple of games where Klopp benched was removing Salah, and Salah was pissed off. Like, that's Klopp.
Yeah.
We here we don't do
Yes.
that. We are trying, but it's like, nah, Rashford is there, regardless.
Yeah.
And he still kind of alluded to the fact that things are not clicking. It's like
Yeah.
it's like when you're playing fantasy and you
Yeah.
have this team in your head that you like, your players, like your wish list, your players that you know are going to score you points. They're taking time to get there, and you keep on having this faith in them that they're going to give you those points. There's that one game week that these guys are going to get it, like it's all going to click. While other
Yeah.
managers are busy making the changes, bringing in the players that are actually putting in the work. You're like, nah, but this guy, I saw something. He's gonna score. Yeah, eventually he will. And then you feel good. But then it's like you had to wait such a long time to like for this guy to get to where you want him to be. And
Yeah.
honestly, like, this is the problem that we have. We want Rashford. Like, it's not that we don't like him. It's not like we don't value what he brings to the club. But
Yeah.
we believe that there's this hunger that comes from players. I think everybody can agree with players when they get benched. There's just that natural hunger. Why can't we
Yeah.
try and provoke that emotion out of him? You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, he says he just keeps an like the journalist asked. He was like, "Do you just keep an arm around him?" He was just like, "Man, you see, I keep on picking him, and I will pick him." So because
Yeah.
he's just hoping for that moment. So I think with
Yeah.
the Marcus Rashford topic on that front, I think I'm just going to keep quiet. Like, I'm gonna stop complaining. I'm just gonna watch, and when we're reacting, I will not say anything about Rashford because I will just blame the manager. I will
Yeah.
just blame the manager because this is the manager's decision. So I'm not even going to
True.
start saying, "Hey, it's Rashford's fault." It's not Rashford's fault.
Yeah.
the manager's fault for keeping Rashford on the pitch and Rashford missing all these chances. It's the manager's fault. He can easily take him out and then
Yeah,
like push, like demand a hunger and drive from Rashford to score. But unfortunately, so with the
yeah,
Rashford topic, I just saw like there's no point in us going back and forth and saying, "Hey, what? Nah, why is the manager?" I saw it in his eyes. I saw it in his response that Rashford is always going to be picked unless he's injured or maybe something is up, personal issues or whatever. He's a bug or what. But other than that, Rashford is always going to start. And
yeah,
I've come to terms with that. It's his favorite player, so it's cool. Every manager deserves his favorite player. So, but I'm done there.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, man.
What about you?
I completely agree with you. Like, I think the whole thing of Rashford starting and favorite player and is he gonna drop him? I think that conversation was finally put to bed. You know,
Yeah.
I think this is exactly what we needed to hear from Ten Hag. We needed it to
Yes.
come out of his mouth for him to
Yes.
say, "Look, I'm not dropping him."
Mm.
I know a lot of you guys have been questioning Rashford. He hasn't been
He's
scoring.
true.
Why is he
Very
starting?
nice.
You know what I mean? So he has put the conversation to bed and said, "Look, I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
start this player whether you like it or not. I believe in him. I trust in him." And for me, the key thing that was pointed out was he's mentioned that he wants Rashford to get back to goal scoring form like last season. So clearly, he's more interested in Rashford scoring goals than anything else.
You saw
So
that.
he's not interested in whether Rashford is making passes or distributing the ball or whatever. For him, it's like, I just need Rashford to be scoring goals and I'm happy. I don't care about the rest. Even though he went and mentioned, because the journalist also proceeded to ask about the front line situation at United, that these guys haven't been scoring a lot of goals, and then he went to say, "Look, our focus right now is distribution towards the main guy, obviously Rasmus Højlund." He didn't mention the name, but obviously that's what he was alluding to because he mentioned distribution. We need to work on distributing the ball better. Sorry, to the guys who are going to be scoring the goals, and clearly Rasmus is that striker that we have. So it's just weird that on one hand, you know, he's saying the ball should go towards the striker for us to get more goals. But then, Rashford, who is expected to be supplying him with the goals, he's now also saying that I want Rashford to also get back to goal scoring. Because if that's the case, then you might as well make Rashford and Rasmus interchange. Then make Rashford the main striker so he can be getting all the balls, and get back to goal scoring form and then rotate him and Rasmus. Because we want him to supply Rasmus with the balls. You said that the striker needs distribution. Where is he gonna come from if it's not gonna come
Exactly.
from Rashford? Then again, you might as well change your formation. Then play with two strikers up front. Play with Rashford and Rasmus up front, and then we
Hey,
use our four backs as the for depth, and then
hey,
populate the midfield. You understand what I mean? If that's how you want to go about it, but I just feel like saying one thing and then saying another thing, like contradicting yourself in one sentence, is
yeah.
just like,
Ah,
what exactly do you want? Because you're just leaving us with more questions than answers.
ah,
So yeah, man, I think just like you, I'm also done with the Rashford thing. After
yeah.
the game, I'm not gonna be like, hey, why didn't Rashford? Why? There's
We're
no
gonna
point.
go for the manager. Yeah,
We're
because
gonna go for the manager.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. So of course, he was asked about Man City. His response is, "Look, they're a hard team to beat. You know, but he's positive because he mentioned that United are going in the right direction, and obviously,
yeah,
what he means by that is the type of results that we are getting." I agree with him to a certain extent, but I think just like in our previous episode, these results have been against lesser teams, and the manner in which we got the results were not even inspiring. They're not
yeah,
confident wins. It's nothing that you can speak about and say, "Oh, we're going in the right direction," because in any
yeah,
case, these are the teams that we're supposed to be beating. You know, so we can't really judge our our progression through these previous games that we've played. If we had played if we had beaten Galatasaray, if we had beaten Bayern, and then still went ahead and beat all these teams, then I feel that statement would hold more value
Yeah,
when he's saying that we're on the right path, we're in the right direction. But him saying that and using that as justification towards why he believes that we could stand a chance, I feel that's just misleading a lot
yeah,
of people, because the result is one thing, you know, but the story, the manner in which we got those results is a
is
whole
another.
different case. It's
Mm.
another different case, and they just don't hold the same value. So yeah, Christian Eriksen, the watch course, one of the journalists, pointed out something that Christian Eriksen spoke about, and for me, the key thing that he said was the balance is not right. You know, the balance in that squad is not right. And now, if this has been coming from the fans, and now it's also coming from the players, so why is it like the manager can't get that same message? Like, why isn't the manager not acting on the same thing that everyone else is seeing? You understand? You say it a
Mm.
lot. Don't insult our intelligence.
Mm.
We can see it for what it is. There's no balance in this team. Why is he not making an active effort to balance the team? Why does he keep insisting on Scott McTominay and Amrabat in the midfield? Why is he not playing Pelestri? Why is he playing half fit players Regulon and not starting the other players, etc., etc.? The laundry list goes on. You understand? So,
Mm.
how do you feel about Eriksen's, statement, and how Ten Hag like approached, um, how he was asked about it?
Bruh, that was a very good question, and it almost felt like he was taken by surprise. But at the
Mm,
same time, he also was aware of what Ericsson had said. And to be honest, he didn't really answer the question correctly. I
mm,
didn't understand his explanation. I can't sit here and start explaining to you what he was trying to say. It wasn't making sense.
yeah,
However, what Ericsson said was 100, like it was spot on. And it is like
yeah,
what I liked about it, it's like it put the gaffer on the spot, you know, because
yeah,
everyone is seeing it. Now, the way I saw
yeah,
his response, I think and it's an ego thing, and all managers suffer from this thing. You have
yeah,
like you have your plan, and because you are the gaffer, you are just gonna stick with what you believe and how you think you want the team to go by. And
yeah,
when people ask you, like, try to challenge you or try challenge your tactics, you will always come up with jargon, because for me it was jargon, man. He was just going in like, yeah, he mentioned something about um possession, and I looked
yeah,
at him and I was just like, wait, what are you talking about? When we, like, he was saying we will have more possession and what, and I'm like, whoa, please. And this comes into what I talked about the other time when I was like, this guy, sometimes you don't understand. Maybe it's the language barrier, I don't know, but
yeah,
he didn't
yeah,
make sense. And
yeah,
it was good that Ericsson said it. And obviously, with Ericsson saying it, he's a senior player. He's got experience. Everybody respects Ericsson for Ericsson. So it did carry weight.
yeah,
And obviously, what I also liked about his response is like he wasn't going down on the player. It's not like he was
yeah,
upset. It's not like,
exactly, yeah,
yeah, that's the thing that stood out. It's like it's the truth. It hit him, and he was
yeah,
just put on the
yeah,
spot and just didn't expect that question to be asked the way it was. And so he just came up
yeah,
with, all managers suffer from this thing where they're put on the
mm,
spot and they don't know how to respond, and they'll give a very bizarre response, and you'll just be sitting there asking yourself, okay, what was he trying to say? And then you just let it slide
yeah,
because it's like, whatever. But that was a
yeah,
very good question. I liked
yeah,
questions they asked them. They didn't hold anything back, these journalists, which is good. We need more questions about the team and less about drama.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
No, I
man.
100% agree with you. And when he was asked that question, the two things that he said that I'm not really quite sure about is number one, he said we're not consistent in possession. Now that I can agree with. You know, you're saying that there are moments in the game where we are good in possession, and then the moments where we are not are those moments that cost us. You know what I'm saying? So just to what you
Oh,
call this?
and I forgot. He also said that Manchester United is the best ball recovering team in the Premier League. That's not a very
Yeah,
good
that's the
stat.
second. Yeah, that's the second thing I actually wanted to mention after this
Ah,
one.
okay. Yeah.
Uh, yeah, was that he said United are the highest ball regaining or recovery team in the Premier League this season. And the thing is, I don't know where I can find the information to back that,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna go and look for it, and not to call him out, you know, not to like make him, not to call him out for a liar or whatever, but it's sort of hard to believe
No,
just
D.
based off.
It's not hard to believe. And that is not a very good stat to have. Because
No, it
based
is. It is a
Mm-mm.
good stat to have.
listen what it
Okay.
means. Based on the way we've been playing, we've not been playing very good. We've been chasing the game.
Yeah.
So those ball
Yeah.
recoveries is us chasing the game, running after trying to regain the ball, which we don't have. So how is that a good stat if we are not doing anything about it? Do you understand? Like being the
Yeah.
best recovery team in the league and nothing
Yeah.
to show for it. What does that mean? Explain it. Make
Yeah.
it make sense to me. You
Yeah.
understand?
No, I
So in
get what you're
yeah,
saying. Yeah. I was sort of taking it from the point of view that when we get out of possession, we recover the ball back fast. You understand? So maybe I'm confusing that for the actual meaning of it. That
eh,
I think your
no,
explanation makes way better sense, because I was
even
looking at it from a point of view that we lose possession but we
mm,
get it back the fastest. So out of all teams in the Premier League, if we have to lose possession, we're gonna be the team to get that possession back. That's
I
how I
think
sort
that's
of
a lie.
interpreted it.
But
But
even if that's
yours
true,
is the correct one.
no,
Yeah. That's why I
I
was
also like
suspicious
this one.
about it.
I also like the one you just
Yeah.
mentioned. I do. I like the one that you just mentioned because
Yeah.
that is a lie, D. That is a lie.
Yeah.
You remember we've been talking about
Yeah.
possession. How
Exactly.
often are we returning the retaining the ball? We always see
Yeah.
the press. He said pressing that we are good. Which pressing?
Yeah. That's
Rasmus
also what I
alone,
was confused
Bruno
about.
alone. Rashford doesn't press. I don't know when's
I,
the
I,
last
I
time I saw Rashford press.
dude,
I'm sorry.
I was so confused about that statement because I'm like, maybe you're talking about in training or something, but when we're watching the matches,
uh-uh.
you know what I'm saying?
Nah.
Maybe this is happening in training, but when we're watching the matches, I just don't see it. And Ben, the funny thing, talking about training, I know I'm steering a bit off topic, but
Yeah.
I was watching this training video the other day that pissed me off. It reminded me of last season when we're not doing well. I don't know if it was last season or the season before when we're not doing well. And
Uh,
then you'd see these training videos of them like having fun and everything like that. And I remember I saw this training video, and I think it must have been before the Copenhagen game. I think it was where they're
uh,
playing this like game where it's like one on this side, one on the other side, and it's like a shirt, and then it's like musical chairs, sort of, and it's like da
uh.
da 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 da, and then they blow the whistle. Then it's like who gets the shirt first? You know what I mean? I get it's a reflex exercise, but the way they're just having
It's just
so much fun, the way they're having so much fun about it, pissed me off
because
because I'm like, this is not even what you should even be working on in the first place. Like, this is not what's wrong with your game. Reflexes is not what's wrong with your game. But here you are, like a 10-minute video, Ben. They're there. Bah, shirt. I'm like, nah, 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 nah. You see now. You see now. You know what I
what
mean?
you're doing.
We, you never see videos of them like, and obviously I know you don't want to send videos out of you having
Actual
patterns of
training.
play, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You understand what I mean? But something substantial, you understand?
Shooting.
Something where you can see them doing like free kick challenges or
Yeah.
what you call this, corner kicks, whatever. Do you understand what I mean? Something that you can be like, yeah, these guys are working hard towards something. But then
Like
the
Real
training videos
Madrid.
of them like, yeah, 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 exactly. And now you're like, what's why are you guys having fun? Not that you can't have fun, but why are you like
bruh.
the fan base
We
how
are
they
not
feel
having
right
fun,
now.
bruh.
We're not having fun. We are not happy at all. Yet you are there.
Bruh.
Yeah, that's like what's
Get the
this?
fuck out of
What's
here.
this? You know what I mean? Then you go and lose. And then we come back to that same video, like, you see? You see? This is what you're doing. But anyway, not to digress, back to the presser. Like, obviously, like I
Mm.
said, he said the most ball regaining team in the Premier League. Either way, like you said, it's not a good stat to have.
Mm.
Um, we should be, yeah, just man, I don't even know what to say about this, but
We should be dominating.
again, it's
As simple as that.
it's just one of those things that he's just, and it's been of late this season, and I remember you pointed it out. Like, there's just a lot of stuff that Ten Hag is just saying that it leaves you scratching your head. It
He's
leaves you like,
changing.
nah, man. You know what I mean? He's changing, and it's like, why are you saying these things? You know, what you're saying, can it be backed up? Like, can it be backed up historically, and can it be backed up like going into the next game? Because obviously he puts out these statements, and for the most of us who haven't been like paying attention to like the stats completely, we're gonna say, okay, we're gonna give you a chance to prove your statement correct. So in this following match, we're going to see what you mean by Manchester United are the most ball regaining team in the Premier League. That's the
Against the
stat I'm gonna
most.
be focusing on. You
Uh,
understand what I mean?
this is. He
That's the
shouldn't
stat
have
I'm gonna
said
be
it.
focusing on.
He has
He shouldn't
dug
have said
himself
it.
in
I,
the
I
foot
think
because
just
against City,
exactly he shot himself in the foot.
the
There's no
most
way you can put out
ball
that statement
possession based team in the
because
world.
literally what he said in the Premier League. He said in the Premier League
Yeah, but
because
they
literally
are in
what
the
he's
world.
saying, I guess so. Like
Yeah.
literally what he's saying is that United, because this was the overall thing. All right,
Mm.
overall the bigger picture, right? Overall, United are not consistent. That's the overall problem, right? But then within this inconsistency, where the problems lie is that um we are poor in ball retention. Like when we have the ball, we're not good with it. In ball possession, we're very poor. We do not distribute enough to the strikers. And what's the other one now? I wanted to mention. It's the distribution. It's the consistency in possession, and it's the lack of decision making. Right, those are
Mm.
the three problem areas that we're having to this overall consistency because there's lack of consistencies in those three. So
Yeah.
the way it's making it seem, it's like if those things are fixed, then we are fine. But I
Mm.
still see like we are not going to be fine, even though those things are fixed. Because I feel those things are still the still small problem to the bigger issue
Yeah.
that the one that Ericsson put out. This team is not balanced, because
Mm.
even though we start getting consistent in possession, right? Because the team is not balanced, we're still going to have Rashford making indecision passing, going for goal instead of making the scoring. We're still going to have our midfield being overrun because Scott McTominay is not going to be in a defensive, position. We're still going to have our left backs overrun because those are not natural left backs or our left backs are injured, etc., etc., etc. You
Yeah.
understand? So I think it starts from what Ericsson said is that this team needs to start with balance first. You know what I mean? And then all those things are gonna fall into place. And a good way of narrating this or much course picturing it is every time when Erik Ten Hag makes substitutes and brings balance into the game, we
It
start to play
changes.
better. It changes. You understand? So
Yes.
clearly, it starts with balance. Once the team is balanced, all those things fall into place because
They
now
fall
you
into
have the
place.
correct players in the correct positions doing the correct things. But once you have players that are not in the position that they're supposed to play, once you remove Bruno from number 10 to number 7, Rashford from number 11 to number 9, Amrabat from number 8 to, you know what I mean, the left back, etc., etc., that's where all of these things become inconsistent because these guys are playing completely out of position and they do not know what the hell they're doing in their new positions that they've been given. You check.
Mm.
So yeah, man. And the thing is, I wonder if these guys are even prepared in training for these type of things. Because you'll find Amrabat is in training as a midfielder, but then game day comes, it's like, yeah, you're gonna play left back. You understand?
Exactly.
So is he doing defensive training? Is Scott McTominay Has Scott McTominay been doing defensive training? It doesn't seem like it because a defensive player who has been trained would know that to not make any reckless high kicking whatever in the box because that could cause a penalty. You understand? So they'd rather go body first header before they raise a high boot because they know that could lead. Someone who's defensive minded would know that. Someone who's not would think this is just an open play thing. You understand? Same thing with when he caused the first penalty with his arms wide open. Is in training, are they telling him that look, when you're in the box, try and go in with your hands behind your back to prevent penalties. But it seems like they are not being trained for these new roles that they're being assigned. And they're just going out there and playing in that position without having the proper tutelage to even go about it.
No, I hear you, man.
So
I hear
yeah,
you. One thing I wanted to point out, just to add on to that Ericsson thing. It's very easy. Like this is just me, sort of like backing the manager a little bit about that statement because it's easy to say that right now for Ericsson because he's fit. He looks in form. So it's like,
yeah,
it's like, yeah, put me in so I can play and do. But then when he's injured and then he's returning into injury, we have that problem where we don't use him. So, I mean,
yeah,
so basically, the the gaffer is aware that Ericsson is, I don't know, I don't want to say injury prone, but could you say that? Maybe he's aging, or maybe he's also not that fast. But right now, Ericsson he looks good. He's changing our games. So the best thing is to use Ericsson until the wheels fall off, until he gets injured again or something. Because I see that happening. Like I don't see Ericsson being with us for a very very long time until
yeah,
he suffers another setback. Then we have to go back into that midfield situation where
yeah,
I have to fix things. So that balance that he's talking about only works when he's there and fit. If he's not, then and Amrabat and everybody else are not there, then it's kind of like
yeah,
taking a shot at the manager because it's like, okay, so like I get that the,
yeah,
the balance needs to be there, but obviously everybody needs to be fit, and everybody at Manchester United
true,
is not fit. So the manager's trying to,
true,
like, in his defense, in a little bit, but again, he still makes the final
yeah,
judgment. He still puts out the final list to go and challenge. So it still
yeah,
falls on him. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. No, I hear you. Like, and I think that's a fair point because yes, he wants the balance, but he doesn't have the players for the
He doesn't have
balance
this. Yeah,
because the players are age old, they're aging, they're injured, or we simply just don't have them because we couldn't
yeah.
get them in the transfer window.
You
So
see,
I think those are probably the things that he will need to address come January, come the next summer transfer. Like he needs to now bring in the players, especially for Ericsson, Casemiro, Varane. You know, we've been talking about these players that are now getting into their 30s and they're getting
bro.
they're moving past their prime. Luke Shaw, this could be the first of many, long-term injuries because he's getting old. So
Mm,
he's another player that we also might look into replacing very soon in the next year or two. You check. So we need to start behaving like a top elite club. We need to, I mean, look at City. They got rid of Gundogan. Nothing wrong
right.
with Gundogan, but they got rid of him. You check just because they needed to refresh because he's getting
Bruh,
old and they didn't want
they
him to
keep
leave on
on
a free.
refresh.
You get what I'm saying?
Bruh,
They got rid of Mahrez. Mahrez still young, still a fit and dynamic midfielder. You understand? They
he's
got rid of the
lethal.
other
Mm.
defender. What was his name?
Laporte.
Laporte. They got rid of him. They
He
got
is
rid
a
of
very good defender. Even I'm so like,
exactly.
bruh. City
Dude,
are
look at
run
how many
well.
players. Look at how many players. Look at how many players City have got rid of, and some of them wasn't even because of age. Look, Zinchenko left. Jesus left. You know, young,
Sterling.
young players that are still hungry to play. Sterling, you know what I mean? Leroy Sané, etc., etc. It's like, Sané, I see you
Cole
doing your
Palmer.
thing, but ish, you know what I mean? You're just not for me. Palmer is not, who is now at Chelsea. You understand what I mean? So, like, cities run very well, but we want to cling and hold on to every single little what and this. You know what I mean? No, why are we getting rid of this player? Blah blah blah. Like, we need to start accepting
Sentimental
the fact that
bullshit.
if this player is not fit for this team, out of here. You understand? I mean, look
Days,
at Sterling. Sterling did more for City than what Rashford has ever done for United, but he got
bro,
sold. You understand?
bro.
Do United have the guts to get rid of Rashford? Do they have the guts to get rid of Martial? You know, do they
Nah,
have the guts to get rid of even Bruno? You understand what I mean? Do they have the guts to go and say, "Look, fam, you're a good player. You've done well for us, but I just don't see you fitting into this system long term. Yes, I give you your game every now and then, you know, but you're still just not the player that I want in my system. You understand? And unfortunately, I need to get rid of you. And that's how
mm,
top clubs run. You understand? And we need to get to that level. But anyway, I think that covers most of what was said in the press conference. So we
yeah,
hope that you guys are now caught up. And I think the last thing I want to talk about is something you mentioned to me the last time. You asked me about how does the manager's demeanor, look, because it gives also us a good indication of, his energy going into this match. So you watched the press conference. So tell me,
mhm.
how was his demeanor? How did you feel? Did he give you enough positive vibes and energy that, you know what, he's actually looking quite confident, or his demeanor was angas. I don't know what's going to
Bro.
happen
It
here.
it was a mixture of confusion and like you know, like a deer in the headlight, like with the headlights, it's just there and like the spotlight is on you, and then you try to.
Yeah,
He has changed. He's not as confident and as assertive as he was when he
yeah,
first arrived here. When he arrived here,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
he was the boss. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
you're scoffing.
This club,
Mm,
for some reason, has a way of training you, and I'm
yep,
seeing a different manager, bro. I'm seeing a manager now
true.
that's just taking punches. Before he would not allow you to punch him. You duck, you know.
Mm,
Now
mm,
he's just taking them, and man, I
exactly.
don't know. I love him. I like him because I don't think that we can find another manager that can come and change things. Maybe we can, but bruh,
Yeah,
like how many? Like nah, nah. Like this was supposed to be it. You understand?
yeah,
Like this was supposed to be the
yeah,
manager that's going to try. However, I have got this thing, D. This manager, this is my only thing. This is the only thing that I trust him and why I keep on backing him. This manager has had to deal with a lot of nonsense. I think for the first
yeah,
couple of seasons as a manager, I think he has been thrown to the wolves. Like he is somebody that has just had to deal with a lot. Like man, he has not even enjoyed his
yeah.
honeymoon stage. Like honestly,
Nah.
like this guy has
Mm,
not been given a break. Like like sharp, just putting things into perspective. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Transfers, what,
yeah,
the team, the what, bruh. This
yeah.
guy has just been thrown to the wolves. And the only thing that I take from that is like, no, let's give him a chance, because there are other clubs.
Mm,
I remember Arteta. Arteta was in the same kind of jiggy majig with Erik Ten Hag is in right
yep.
now. In fact, it was
Mm,
worse because those Arsenal guys
yeah,
were like Arteta out, you know.
yeah,
But he got them a
exactly.
trophy. He managed to just
Mm-hmm.
keep the thing, and then things clicked. So let's give
Yeah,
him a chance. I think in that regard, let's
yeah,
always just keep that in the back of the mind. Let's not stop
yeah,
questioning him because I mean, football is demanding. I'm sorry, that's the work that you guys have chosen. It comes with criticism, it comes with love, it comes with passion, it comes with people calling you all sorts of names. But you guys are there, you
yeah,
chose that job, you have to deal with it. We're going to come criticize you, we're going to say all these things, but at the same time, we understand your position and your situation. And
yeah.
I think the last thing that we actually forgot to talk about was Onana. He mentioned something about Onana.
Oh yes.
He
Oh
was
yes.
like, how do you guys how have you guys been helping? Because he hasn't had a good start. How have you guys
Yeah.
been encouraging him? And I liked his answer because it was true. Because I also noticed it, and I'm sure you also noticed it, and I'm sure the other fans also noticed it, that the past
Yeah.
two games, Onana has been better. He hasn't been doing the
Yeah.
nonsense, which is it's a fact. I've seen it,
Yeah.
and like what they were alluding to, or what he was alluding to, was like, listen, we just keep on reminding him of the good that he has done in previous leagues, previous clubs. Like, he has the quality,
Yeah.
he's good enough. So we just keep on encouraging him and telling him that he's the best, which I guess it
Yeah.
also works. Like, you need to talk to your keeper. And the truth is, there has been a slight change. He's not taking too much
Yeah.
time with the ball. He's not keeping us on the edge, and partly that has to
Yeah.
do with the fans. The fans played a huge role in these past couple of games. But yeah,
100%.
yeah, man. I don't know if you had anything
Yeah.
to say about that.
Yeah. Not much, eh? Not much.
Yeah.
But I totally get. I totally get where you're coming from, and
Mm.
I think you have worded it fine. And honestly, I don't think there's anything else I have to add to that. I think maybe the only thing I want to touch on was the demeanor part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that last season he had all this energy, he had all this, like, what do you think of City? And it's like, every
Era comes
whatever,
to an end.
every era comes to an end. Those are the type
Rah!
of responses that we're getting. You know what I mean? Like, he came
Onwards.
with so much vigor, and it sort of like seems like this season he's biting his tongue because he doesn't want to feel like he says something and then it's not being translated onto the pitch or whatever. Then he ends up looking like the idiot at the end of the day. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's such a shame how he has lost that, and it just goes to show that managing United is not like managing any other club. The
No,
expectations are high.
there's
They're
something.
ridiculously high. More so,
Yeah.
especially that we haven't won any major title in so many years, you know. But still, the pressure is ridiculous on Manchester
Too much.
United. It's absolutely ridiculous. This is not Ajax. I'm pretty sure he never got this type of backlash and, reporters on his case and stories and things to deal with. Like, he can't catch a break. He can't catch a break at all. So I just really hope he can get back to that Ten Hag that we had, in the first season, because we missed that Ten Hag. He gave us a lot of confidence going into even matches that
Yeah.
we thought we just wouldn't. We went into. I remember when we went and played Barcelona, man. I didn't even think twice that we're going to lose. You understand what I'm
Me
saying?
too.
You get what I'm saying, Ben?
Yeah.
This season, I'm worried about freaking Copenhagen and Sheffield. I'm shaking in my boots. You understand what I mean? But last season, I'm like, bring them. Barcelona, calm. City,
Calm.
calm. Liverpool,
Calm.
calm. You understand what I
Ah.
mean? Now it's like,
Bruh.
kind of Sheffield. You just don't know, eh? You know what I
Bruh.
mean? Like, we've been
Like,
reduced to that. We've literally been reduced to it's back to Ole days where it's just you
bro.
just don't know. You
Oma.
just don't know. So yeah, man,
Oma.
I think that's all I have to say about this
PTSD.
press conference. Yeah, I think with my score prediction, I'm gonna keep it the same. Even
Ah,
though he hasn't inspired me or given me any confidence to alter my decision, I think I'm still gonna keep the same decision and say 2-1.
I know
Starting
why.
11.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah,
I
okay,
know why, because it's a
okay.
derby. It's a derby. You're
It's a
feeling
derby,
something. You
exactly.
you have
Yeah,
noticed
yeah, yeah,
also the weakness that I am also talking about. Because I don't think you would have had
yeah,
this confidence if City was
yeah, yeah,
firing on all cylinders. No ways. No ways. So
yeah.
you have
True,
identified
true.
there's a
Yes,
slight kink,
there's
and we
a
might
chance.
be able
There's a
to
chance.
exploit it. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly.
I like that. I like that you
Uh,
agree.
Starting 11, I'm gonna go with exactly the same.
Mhm.
Clearly, players that we thought could be available, like Casemiro, are clearly not gonna be available for the match. Maybe he
Mhm.
might get some minutes in the second half. You know, maybe he
Yeah.
may start the match, and Ten Hag hopes for first half goals, and then he can pull off these players, and then parks the bus or whatever. So he might start strong. You know what I mean? He might start. I don't know. Amrabat, Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno. Rashford, Rasmus. Then the back four that you mentioned with Lindelof or Regulon. Hope
Mm,
to get a first half result, and then second
mm.
half bring in the Scotties and everyone, the ones who basically have got energy for days, and maybe just disrupt City and not give them a chance to go
But
ahead and score a goal. But I
the
yeah
timing should be right. The
yeah
timing of those
yeah
substitutions, because there's
it
some sort
needs
of
to be right.
momentum. You can't bring somebody fresh to come and get into a game that is just firing too fast. You need the game to
Yeah.
slow down. Yeah. Because you
Mm,
will come in there and then if we concede, it's like, yeah, that it's that substitution. When you made the sub, we conceded. When
yeah.
actually it was not the truth. You just took off the player
Yeah.
too early. Like the player that was still in
Exactly.
the whole. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. No, I get you. I get you. But yeah, that was a press conference. Wait, did you give your? Are you gonna change your score prediction starting 11, or are you keeping it the same? Keeping it the
Keeping it
same,
the
huh?
same, my man. Yeah, but I
All
think
right, my guy.
no, there was no Casemiro in my starting, right? I said Amrabat,
Yeah, there was no
Eriksen,
Casemiro.
Bruno. And then that left
Yeah.
back, I would like to see Lindelof instead of Regulon. I think
All
we'll be
right.
much safer with Lindelof than Regulon. Unless Regulon
All
is
right.
like fit, like
Yeah.
he's not going to show me signs like he's struggling. I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
That is my
Yeah.
problem. I don't want to see him struggle to
Yeah.
run back. That thing, against City,
Yeah.
bro. You saw those wingers, they bomb. And now you put
Yeah.
Regulon because he's a left-footed left wing, but he's not fit. Come on, just put
Yeah.
Lindelof who's fit, who can just do a job, because we don't
Yeah.
want to take chances. And then you bring Regulon to add, because we always
Yeah.
tend to find our heart when the game is running away from
Yeah.
us. That's when we decide, oh, now let's do all these things. I think Regulon will add those bombs at the end. But if he
Yeah.
starts, he should be fit. He really should be fit. I don't
Yeah.
want nonsense. I really don't.
I
But
got
yeah,
you.
I'll stick like that. And the score 2-1. I'm saying
Two
this
one.
because I'm trying to confuse the gods. I want them to flip this thing around. You know what I mean?
Uh,
I'm rooting
oh
for
my
City
god.
in a
Yeah.
way, in a cursed way. Like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
rooting for them
Yeah.
to win, but I know I want the gods to be like, Benito,
Yeah.
what do you mean? Now we're going to United is going to win. Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna make sure. I'm like, nah, City is winning. Nah. City is winning today. I dare you.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
What? What? Rashford, 3 hat trick. No. Boom, boom. You know what I mean? I go deep with these gods, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah. I feel you, my guy. Jeez, man. Yo. But yeah, man. No, thanks for that. And we're gonna wrap it up here.
One time.